Alright, everybody. I hope that my volume is working. I've been having some issues. If not, I'll figure it out later. If anybody's in the chat, go ahead and tell me that you can hear me. I want to give a shout out to World News. We've been working together here, and Tezande, to shed a little bit of light on this situation. Happy New Year's Eve, and I'm going to start with that. Have we heard anything lately about Tiara Richardson? The last thing I knew, she was in jail. It said AWOL, but we haven't really heard too much. I was sent this photo, not this one, right here. Okay? She looks a little bit different, and I know it's the same girl as both photos, and maybe it's the lighting, but what do you think about that tattoo on her stomach? I'm not saying she's not in jail. I'm not saying whether or not she's dead or alive, but this is something that we definitely need to look into. Now, this photo was taken, I believe, 2014. So this is one thing that we're taking a look at. If you go check out World News, he has a couple new videos out this morning. I was trying to fix my volume. We're kind of touching base over the same topics just because we want to get this out to as many people as possible. Okay, we went over some clips last night from Detroit, storing the body parts. Okay, this is Arthur Rathburn, and I'm questioning, as well as probably all of you, as to why he's not in prison. They got popped the first time in 2014, and what it seems to be is, if this started out in Chicago, it's been moved to Detroit. This came up because they had found some organs in a water plant. The heart actually came back as a deer heart, which you can think whatever you want about that situation. I think it's kind of odd, and if for some reason a deer somehow got into the water plant and fell through whatever, where's the rest of the body? Why is it just a heart here or a lung here? I'm not too sure what all body parts were found or organs, but that's something that we need to question. Okay, it says, man suspected of selling freezers used to illegally store body parts. Okay, from my understanding, this is father and son, Donald Green and Donald Green Jr. Okay, I want you to take a look at these pictures. Now, I got these pictures a long time ago, and I didn't read too much into it until last night. I want you to pay attention to the guy on the right. Okay, now I know World News went over this guy over here a little bit more in depth in his video this morning. I believe his name might be Paul, but father and son. Okay, I want you to take a good look. Is anybody seeing what I think I saw? Could that be our match for our mystery food and beverage manager? They look pretty similar, aside from the edited footage. So I started looking into facilities in Chicago while trying to place and piece all this together. A while back, World News did a video on Roland Weiss, who is the guy from Evanston Funeral Home and Cremation Center. His father is Abe Beckman, from my understanding. And real quick, I'm going to show you who he is. This is him right here. And we believe that this is his mom and dad, okay? So I did a search last night, and that's when I came up with this center, okay? In Chicago. And it's located on a campus. You know, it tells you a little bit about the place. It's for people of all abilities, including counseling, pediatric therapies. It has a therapeutic preschool and this and that. And now we all know whether or not Kanika had a learning disability, that this could somehow tie in. So I started going through the names here, okay? Does anything jump out at you? I found a Greer Beckman right here, which, if that's the oh my lord, the last name is the same as Abe, that could possibly be, I don't know, a grandchild or maybe a younger daughter. Okay? Does she look? So I went through some photos. And I want to know what you guys think. Now I know the hair's a little bit different. And like I said, these pictures, this picture on the left could have been from years ago. But I want to know what you think. All we're doing is trying to connect all these dots. And this is just a little bit of a bigger photo here. Let's see if I can turn this light off so you can see better. Okay, now I want you to pay attention to where this is located. Does that street sound familiar? Because I'm pretty sure one of the houses. I don't remember offhand if it was Teresa Martin or the Evanston Funeral Home. One of these houses is on this street, and I do know that the address of Teresa Martin's house versus the Evanston Funeral Home are pretty close together. Okay, these photos aren't really in order, so I'm just going to go as they pop up. Now, these two people haven't been talked about, so we did a little research on them, okay? Now, I'm still trying to locate this guy's name. The photo that I'm going to show you next is who I believe both of these people are in one photo, but they ended up chopping it online so that the guy on the left isn't in the photo anymore. Now, yeah, it looks like he lost a little bit of weight, but if you look at the facial features and the beard and the glasses, it's pretty close. Now, this guy on the right, obviously they know each other. So I'll take you back here, real quick, to the edited footage so you can see. And we'll come back to that. Okay, this is him down here, and if you can see this photo, it used to be the photo with both of them, but it's been cut. And this is John Andrew Morrow. He is a Canadian Muslim scholar who embraced Islam over 30 years ago. Now, we're still trying to tie in his part, like I said, if that is him. But I want to go back to Detroit and the Donald Green, okay? This building is in Chicago, and it's an unregulated cadaver parts industry. It helped build Rosemont's reputation for surgical training, meaning that they're using these donor bodies for cadavers. And this was in January 2016, okay? If you watch World News' video, it'll state that the reason why they got shut down was because they didn't have a license to store bodies and or body parts at this facility. Like, in my head, I'm thinking, this is just so much corruption. Like, why don't you just do what you're supposed to do in order to have licenses to do the right thing, which also leads me to believe of all the messed up shit going on. And then what do you know here? Donald A. Green Sr. is a Park District Commissioner for the village of Rosemont. He and his son, Donald Green Jr., rented office space for Biological Resource Center in Illinois. What's the address? Does that address look familiar? That's because that's the address of the Biological Resource Center that's hooked to the Rosemont Police Department. It even states down here, the FBI raided and closed down the Rosemont offices of Biological Resource Center in Illinois in January 2015. But the company is still in operation out of the Schiller Park crematorium, said the Greens' lawyer. I thought this was kind of funny. World News had posted this earlier on one of his videos. Everybody not mentioned in the Crown Plaza murder mystery of KJ should make plans to lay on a bunk. Meaning that eventually everybody that is involved in this messed up corruption are going to jail. Somebody had sent me this morning. I don't know for sure if this is really the real Kanika Jenkins, but if you look up here, it states 1997. Okay? I think we were told possibly that she was born in 93, and then one of the other photos that I had prior said 1998, which wouldn't make her 19, it would make her 20, so this, I'm not too sure. I looked up John Buck, could possibly be her biological father, I'm not too sure. This Jill Elaine Martin, I'm not too sure if she's deceased or if she's still alive. You don't find too much about her on Facebook. I found an article of her which possibly had a different last name, with 2 children that were boys, 5 and 8, that I'm believing were possibly in a car accident, and they ended up passing away. That's something else that we're looking into. Now we got this guy. Now, like I said, we went through all this footage how many times? And there's certain people that we just didn't focus on, okay? And it wasn't until last night when World News ended up going over Donald Green and his son and everything that had gone down in Detroit that I started to put this guy together, okay? Now, I want you to pay attention to the mustache. It's kind of like a goatee, but it's kind of, I mean, it kind of reminds me of a pirate, but a little bit bushier. The way that the mustache comes down and it's shaved in here. And I'm going to show you who I think this is. I mean, if you look at the other photo, and you look at the stomach, the little gut there, and if you get real close and you look at the mustache and the hairline, kind of looks the same to me, and it says, Grosse Pointe cadaver dealer wants out of jail, wife objects. Grosse Pointe cadaver dealer accused of selling diseased body parts wants to be freed on bond. Prosecutors say he's a danger to his ex-wife. Now, we're going to look into who his ex-wife actually is to see whether or not she's still alive. But this is something that I wanted to take a look at, because to that other picture in the red X armor shirt, these two look pretty similar, and it kind of looks like if this is him, he was let out of jail. Let me go back here to some other photos. Now, if you go check out World News, he's got the whole thing on the skin complexion and the anti-aging agents that could possibly be used for this donating. For what they could possibly be using this for. And I want to touch base on this guy one more time. Okay? Regardless if he has a mask on or not, because World News actually had gone over this with the cheekbones. They're very distinct. I think it should take us to the next picture. Just like the cheekbones are here. And that is our next connection, okay? Our next connection is going to be linking this guy to Chicago and who he is in connection with at the Rosemont Hotel. So we're looking at Chicago, Michigan, some parts of Texas, possibly Louisiana, California, Las Vegas. There are these people spread out everywhere in order to make this organization work. Another thing I wanted to touch base with real quick. Somebody had sent me this photo. I believe this is Tyra Thomas, and this is Kanika. I'm not too sure. This might have been like 2014, somewhere around in there. This was one of her friends. If Kanika had a learning disability, whether she did or not, what are the chances that at some point, maybe, like people have said she was pregnant and she had a miscarriage? If that were true and she had some kind of psychological breakdown, that she could have been put in one of these facilities. Another thing that I want to address is, what if this happened a while ago and that's the reasoning behind this reenactment? Whether or not that's to get the hotel busted or not. I mean, these people, that hotel needs to be shut down, and I'm sure anybody watching any of these videos agrees. The hotel needs to be shut down. Everybody wants to see these people brought down, and it's time to get the FBI or somebody involved. And all it's going to take, somebody had made a comment the other day, all it's going to take is one good cop to reopen this case. And that's what we're working on right now. So I'm going to leave you with all this information. I'm going to catch up with Tay Zonde and World News, and between the three of us, one of us should be back here later. So everybody have a happy new year, and justice for Kanika and all the victims.